And then Cohen, as we're walking out, was like, Daddy, when is St. Patrick's Day? Tuesday. It's like, do you think we'll have time for soda bread? I'm like, I have no idea, son, because I don't make it. So,
well,
sure. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Matt Fiona Show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, do us a quick favor.
like
and share, and subscribe and all those things. More importantly, this is one that I've learned the other day.
Oh, okay. Don't know where we're going.
Do us a bigger favor and leave a review. Because supposedly that really helps.
Oh.
Yeah. I've been studying algorithms.
Okay. All right. I have not. So thank you for doing so.
Yeah. So leave a review. Say how awesome it is. How annoying I am. Whatever. It really doesn't matter.
How encouraging.
Good or bad. I'm indifferent to it.
Humorous.
I will respond to the funny ones if I can.
Absolutely.
Like I do to the comments. All right. We are going to jump right in to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about something that you're going to sit here and go, what are you doing? And then you'll get it, hopefully. And if not, I don't care. We're going to talk about space and distance.
Hmm.
So I was listening to something the other day, and it was a gentleman. He's got a show. I listen to him a lot, and he was talking about how he was out in the car, and they were coming back from dinner. They got cut off, and he was indifferent to getting cut off, but for whatever reason, the vehicle that cut him off started to be annoying as he was driving.
Right.
And they drove for a mile or two, or 3 to 4 kilometers, for all y'all, and got to a roundabout. And he was following at a distance because they were going in the same direction. And this car, late at night, just stopped in the middle of the roundabout.
Right.
And the guy's telling the story, and he's like, so I immediately stopped my truck, put it on a bit of an angle, flipped my brights on, had 150 yards, something of that in meters, and no idea.
Similar-ish.
160 meters.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And was just observing the situation.
Yes, cautiously observing.
Mm-hmm. And his wife kind of looked at him and was like, what are you doing? It's like, space and distance, honey. Like,
right.
And again, you might be able to track what his background is, but he was space and distance, and he was paying attention. And he's telling this story, and he's talking about how when he was younger, and I identified with this story greatly. When he was younger, in that same situation, he would have rolled up on the vehicle, put his window down, and started yelling at the guy.
Right.
Get out of the way. What are you doing? Stop, cut, like just all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a little older, a little wiser, every time a situation such as that comes up, he's focused on getting space from the situation.
Yep.
And putting distance so that he has time to react.
Right.
Time to assess. Time to be aware of what's going on. And he's throughout the show, this kept coming up in the sense of people asking him, like, if he's ready to throw down because he does jujitsu and all this other stuff. He's a black belt. He's like, no. I'm walking away from everything.
At all costs.
And it got me thinking about a couple of things. One, I identified with both examples he gave because there was a time years ago where if I was driving and someone was riding my tail, I was more apt to brake check them.
Right.
Or not aggressively. Tap the brake so the lights up.
Yes.
While not letting off the accelerator. I was more apt to do that than I was to change lanes and let them go.
Right.
And if they're driving faster than me, again, years ago, I would be more apt to drive faster than them. Because obviously I can drive faster than you can.
Your reaction years ago
Yes.
is different.
Is dramatically different than it is today.
Right.
And even what kind of made me think of this is I was working on Saturday and was driving home and we've got a couple highways that kind of intersect in town, and I was merging from one to the other. And when I did it, another vehicle merged very aggressively right behind me.
Right.
And I'm in the right lane. I'm doing 105
kilometers.
I know you're shocked that I was only doing 105, but I was only doing 105.
Which is like 60 miles per hour.
Yes. And they were right on my tail. And it's 2 exits before I get off for the house. And they would not go around me. I sped up a little bit. They sped up a little bit. Like just all the things.
Right.
And I didn't feel threatened. I also was aware that somebody was riding my bumper. We got off on the same exit, which is even more for me of what is going on.
What's happening? Right. Caution.
So we get off the exit. There's two lanes. I stayed in the right lane. And when that speed limit went to 50, I was doing 49.
Right.
And they very quickly went around me. And then I started doing 30 so that they could get well ahead of me and I didn't have to lap so that I'm not driving straight to my house.
Correct.
Space and distance.
Space and distance.
And again, it was nothing. They obviously just live in the neighborhood too.
Right.
But it's those moments where you sit back and you go, all right, I can do one of two things. I could have brake checked them. I could have sped away like a madman. I could have chased them down or whatever. Like just all of these things could have come up and it could have become something.
An actual problem.
Could have become a problem. Could have become a situation. And one, I think it's a little bit of maturity on my part, which I don't think I get enough credit for how mature I've become. Two, only some people will get that joke and that's fine. It's being more self-aware. It's being more non-confrontational in situations where confrontation doesn't solve anything.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I hear stories all the time of, somebody cut me off and then I cut them off and then we were racing down the highway and then they were following me and I got out of the car and had to yell at them. Like all of those things are, again, do what you want to do. But how often are we putting ourselves in situations we don't need to be in? And, like we were picking up dinner the other day and there was a couple delivery drivers who were also there trying to pick up their things.
Right.
And one of the guys was getting a little aggressive with the young lady that was working at the food place. And the first time I let it go, because again, it's not it wasn't over aggressive. He was just being a dork. The second time, I kind of cleared my throat. He looked, I scowled, and I'm 6'2", and he wasn't. And he kind of backed off. And I didn't have to do anything else.
Right.
I didn't have to go up and, shove him and be like, hey, you're being rude. Is enough that he chilled.
Right.
She was able to keep making food. And there was no drama. But I know there's situations where that would escalate into something different.
Well, I think it comes down to, two factors.
Two factors.
One of it is just wisdom.
Yeah.
I guess 3 factors. Maturity.
I'm so mature.
You are.
Thank you. I was waiting for that validation that took
I let you wait.
a little too long.
I let you wait. I that pause was on purpose.
Yeah, thank you. Love you. Mean it.
Love you, mean it too. But then the third one, which when we discussed about this, was that element of self-control.
Yeah.
And, you were saying all of that, and I remember a story, and this is years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, 20 years ago.
Statute of limitations hopefully have
Passed.
elapsed.
But I just remember at one point where silly little thing, Christmas time, the fighting for the parking spots.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point, I don't even remember who pulled in or what happened. Actually, I think I was waiting for the parking spot and somebody was pulling out and I had been waiting there for like 10 minutes, not 10 minutes. It felt like that, but there was nobody else in the
like
thing.
An eternity.
I, followed that person to my thing. And so as they pull out, this other car comes and just
the
pulls
other way
in.
and pulls in.
Pulls in. And I had a moment where I got out and I was like, excuse me, did you not see me waiting there?
Yep.
Very quickly, the other person was not in the mood for any sort of discussion, which I honestly should have known at that point, but I was a little bit younger because I am probably going back a solid 20 years. Like, I don't know if
I was around.
I don't know if you were in the picture or whatnot, right? Or if it was like we had met each other, but I was still living in New York.
Right.
Type idea. And the person who got out quickly, because all I did was address them and said, hey, I've been sitting here for 5 minutes waiting for that parking spot. Their reaction.
A wee bit over the top.
Whoo! I mean, I'm pretty sure she was ready to throw punches. I was not. But I mean, I know.
Who you kidding? You're always ready.
Well, but I remember in that moment, it kind of heightens you.
Yeah.
And it gets you, it can push your buttons to say the least. And there was a moment where, oh my gosh, okay, well, yeah, anyhow.
Yep.
There was a moment where it's like, okay, this is the time.
Have a good day.
This is the time which I didn't think about that now. I didn't think about that back then, is you give that space and that distance. Enjoy your parking spot. You have a great day. And I just remember taking that moment.
And then back away while facing the person.
Yes, that's what
Don't turn your back.
That's what I was literally just going to say. It was a back away while facing them as I got in my car and leave. But it was very quickly that moment of, haven't thought about this probably since that day, but as you're talking about it, I was like, woo, all right.
Yep.
It was a moment, and they're required that, and it wasn't a matter of fight or flight. I wasn't flighting from the situation, but I was illustrating or demonstrating A, self-control, B, using some wisdom, and C, assessing the situation and realizing that engaging was going to make it worse.
Yep.
I was not ever going to get that parking spot.
No.
There were others. I may have had to drive around for a little bit, but so what?
Well, again, that initial, and I would argue that we didn't know each other yet because we would have had a long conversation about situational awareness. Had you told me this story earlier, because I don't think I've ever heard this.
Yeah.
But that's the perfect example of, it's a parking spot. Who cares? Like, and I get it, because sometimes my brain chooses the dumbest path forward.
Right, and it's like, I need to defend this. I waited here. I earned this.
I have been wronged.
I have been wrong, and it isn't a personal attack on me.
Yes, it's a personal affront.
Personal, and I need a handout. But that was one of those moments. Looking back on it now, it could have escalated.
It could have been really bad.
It could have been really bad.
It never should have been bad.
It should have never been. You're right.
We don't live in that world.
But and then what I'm going to go from there is, and that was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
How much worse has it become?
Yes.
And I think, the scriptures talk to us about, either being carnally minded or spiritually minded. And you might not think that has much to play with this, but being able to control your reaction, be able to have that self-control, be able to use the wisdom to assess the situation properly, to allow yourself to be guided by the Holy Spirit, to know whether or not what you move forward with should be done or not. All of these play a role and a factor into the situations at hand that unfortunately shouldn't arise, but all too often do. And, we always have those moments of, well, that kind of stuff and that kind of drama is never going to happen to me. But too many people have now had those moments of, that will never happen to me, happen to them.
Well, and it is something where everyone's run into a Karen or some gym bro that wants to get aggressive about everything.
Right.
And, you know, I had been having this conversation with someone a couple of months ago around the same topic without the example. And without asking me, they'd kind of asked the last time I'd been in a fight. I'm like, I haven't been in a fight in years.
Right.
I avoid fights.
Yeah.
Like, really? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I feel like you would get in a lot of fight because they know me. I'm like, they don't know me.
I was going to say.
They know, dare I say, kind of like my persona.
They have a perception
Yes,
of you, an inaccurate perception of you.
Because they know I might occasionally have a big mouth.
You're a strong personality.
I might be a little snarky at times. I know everyone is shocked, but especially you.
It's what I love about them.
But I might be a little sarcastic and snarky, and sometimes I say things without thinking.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you are well thought out and planned even on what you do say.
It's calculated.
It is very calculated.
But they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, if I'm in a situation where there's a potential of that, I'm walking away.
Well,
unless it becomes a different situation.
Right.
But I like to use your example, I am not getting in a fist fight in a parking lot over a parking spot.
No, absolutely not.
I am not fussing with you if you cut in line with me at the store. I might look at you and be like, I guess some people can't see. Or, again, something ridiculously snarky.
Right.
But if they give me drama, hey, go ahead.
Well,
I might even buy you coffee.
Right.
Like if you cut in front of me.
A lot of those situations, it's never worth
it.
The potential of the problem that could fall back on you from any of it.
Yeah. And again, don't get me wrong. You mess with her, you mess with the kids. I hope you have life insurance because you might need it. And again, we were picking up food.
Right.
And when we first got there, the kids had kind of gone to one area and then more people came. Mm-hmm. And we very quickly removed ourselves from that little spot where we had no real escape to a different area where they could sit, have people not right beside them.
Right.
And I could see everything and know what was going on. But the other thing that continually comes to mind every time I get in a conversation about this or about, defending you, not defending yourself, but defending your honor, right? From somebody cutting you off or road rage or like all of these things or cutting in line from you at a store. What I always go back to is recognizing that I just talked about how snarky I am. What happens if I respond to somebody who cuts in front of me at Timmy's on Sunday morning? Mm-hmm. And then they show up to church.
Huh.
Right?
Right.
What happens if I get real aggressive with somebody in the parking lot at Home Depot?
And then they catch our podcast.
Yeah, and then they see the show.
Right.
Right? Now, again, that's not saying I'm a wimp. That's not saying I won't stand behind things I say. Because I'm sure whether this show or my other show I used to do, I've offended tons of people because I'm quite
direct.
Yeah, I also have strong opinions, and that's
Right.
okay. Like I know for a fact that I've offended quite a few CEOs of tech companies.
Well, that I think, yeah, okay.
That's different than losing your cool, losing self-control.
But also in those offenses, it was never directed at them.
No.
It was
It's
information. It's information that they just may not like the information, which happens on an absolute regular basis.
Yeah, they just don't like the opinion.
Right.
But that's different.
But that is completely different.
But it is something where, we live in a world where all these petty things, the potential for disaster is so much greater than winning the parking spot.
Well, you said it best, as I hadn't thought about it in this realm yet. But, you had mentioned, what if, I cut somebody off and then all of a sudden they show up at church?
Yeah. Or your job.
Or whatever the case may be. And that just made me kind of think along these lines of, we are supposed to let our light shine, right? We are
a good example.
We are supposed to, right, have Jesus inside of us, and he is the one that is supposed to
shine through
us. We are an extension of him. And every day, I think we have moments and or situations in which who we are, how we act, and how we behave can have
a lasting impact.
A big impact. And what we reflect is shown throughout. And, it's so funny. And this is not like a brag on me moment, but this is just a situational thing. I go to a lot of banks on a fairly regular basis. Anyway, but I had gone to a bank probably about a month and a half ago. And I hadn't honestly remembered the teller because she was not a regular on the day that I normally go. So I went up and I was like, hi, how are you? Da, 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 blah, blah. And she looks at me. She goes, oh my goodness, I remember you. I'm like, oh, okay. She's like, you're one of the only nice people I see. And what happens is, and we were talking to her, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, how many people do you encounter? And she says the majority of people that I encounter are rude, obnoxious, and bossy, right? So we have an opportunity, and it's not a hard opportunity anymore, to stand out.
Yep.
And I mean, one of the other banks I go to, I've been told numerous times, they're like, we look forward to you coming in every week.
Yeah.
And that is not a brag on who I am by any way, shape, or form, but I choose to operate the amount of people that are there, and they'll be standing in line, and I listen to them bicker, whine, moan, complain out of frustration about having to wait in line, about how nobody's doing their job. And I watched one of the branch managers come up and, try to ease the situation.
Yep.
It was a moment in which I was like, I'm going to take a couple steps back real quick because I...
Give yourself some space and distance.
I gave myself space and distance.
Yep.
The other day, well, anyway... But, so I actually, after that, I finally got it up to him and I was like, you must be new here. And he's like, well, I just took over, and whatnot. And he's like, that, and he mentioned that kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, welcome to people, a people industry. He's like, I know. He's like, I don't know who, what, how, when, where yet, because it was his first day. Right. And I am noticing more often in situations like this when I go out, space and distance is required.
Yep.
Because the temperaments of people are heated. They are stressed. There's just a lot going on. A lot of people don't know how to manage it. But how we react, if we are supposed to be the body of Christ, we should be able to stand apart and stand apart and be different. But in order to keep ourselves protected, we do need that space and we need that distance because there's a lot of people out there that don't operate the way we do.
Well, and the biggest thing that I want to make sure I kind of touch on is kind of two things. One, I'm not saying be meek and mild and be a wimp. And
Absolutely
be a pushover.
Nope.
At all.
Nope.
Ask around. I am none of those things. It's more about, again, being aware of what's going on.
Using wisdom.
Using a high level of wisdom.
Yep.
And giving yourself time to react to any situation that arises.
Yes.
With wisdom.
Yep.
With... honestly, time to
process
the situation and then address it appropriately.
Yes, that's it.
And,
right there.
And again, kindness plays a factor into this. Like all of these things work together. And I keep coming back to, again, waiting in line to pick up this food. And, you know, we were, all these other delivery drivers got kind of served before us, which again is fine. I'm not in a big rush.
Right.
Like and that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which maybe at some point we'll touch on. But I made sure that we had, again, space and distance so that we could still, you know, again, still be able to hear when they call our food, know what's going on, but be aware of what's around us.
Yep.
Just, you know, and I'm not trying to paint it as like this super sketchy picture, but I was also in there with the kids.
Well, and also there's a
Which
lot of places, simple places you go that are super sketchy anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. The food was great.
It was
the
wonderful.
location is interesting.
Very much so.
But at the same time, when I got up to the counter and she had our food ready, she apologized so much. I was like, hey, no problem.
Right.
You guys are a little crazy today, though. That's crazy. She's like, oh, I know. And you could watch her reaction shift.
Yes.
She had been on defense for the 20 minutes we were waiting.
Yeah.
She was steeled for the offensive, aggressive responses, the rudeness, all of these things. And then I get up there, and again, I was bigger than everybody there. I typically have to just kind of tell on myself a little bit, my resting face is not usually super approachable.
Right.
It's a little serious typically.
Yes.
I know some people have other words for it, but I don't have one of those. I just have an aggressive look typically, partially because I'm big.
Right.
And she was not.
Right.
She was your size.
Right.
And I get up there.
I'm 5'2".
And the second she apologized, and again, she was still steeled and like ready to be berated. I was like, oh, no, that's crazy how busy you guys were. And you could see her entire countenance change. And she's like, oh, thank you for understanding. I'm like, of course. Like, this happens. It's no big deal. We're good. Like, what, you know, how do I pay? Blah, blah. Can I tip it? You know, all the things.
Right.
And by the time we grabbed all our food and walked away, and again, I'd been watching this for 20 minutes.
Yep.
She went from being super,
I know it.
to not a huge smile on her face, but a pretty big smile on her face. She was happy.
Well, I think what it comes down to overarching with all of this, and when I used to teach, especially high school students, this is, and I still do it to this day, and I do it with some of the kids at church, and I've done it with some of the young adults that we've had kind of, you know, throughout the years. We can't control others.
Nope.
We can only control ourselves. And our reactions have to be within our control.
Yeah.
But there is nothing we can do to change other people. And that's where that time frame with that space and distance that you give yourself to be able to assess that you have control over.
Yep.
But you have more control over it if you remove yourself from a situation, you step back and you allow yourself with wisdom to have that time to process.
Yeah.
Because you can't, yesterday, I mean, it's a simple, silly little illustration, but you couldn't control the rudeness of the other people.
No.
But what you could do was take...
I'm kidding.
You could take a step back.
Mostly.
You could create a secure space.
Yep.
But then you could also bring down the defenses of the person once you got up to them.
Yeah.
But we so often, and I think that sometimes we think that by reacting strongly, we can then control the other person. You can't control the other person. No matter, you can only control yourself. Yeah. And that is a large factor where when you just immediately react, you no longer have control of a situation.
Yep.
And you sometimes don't even have control of yourself.
I would argue that's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Is that typically, And we've all heard the expression of like, oh, I just see red. It's like, cool. That's not helping
That
anyone.
doesn't help anything.
You
can't if you lose your control, you've lost control of the situation.
The second you lose your cool, it's over.
That's that space and distance.
Yep.
Step back.
It gives you time. Again, it just gives you time.
Processing time.
Yep.
Yep.
It's fantastic. All right. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, do us a favor. Go like, share, and subscribe, and all those things. Leave us a review.
Yeah.
We'll see how much that helps our things, our algorithms.
So that we can encourage others.
Yes, and teach them about space and distance.
Space and distance.
All right. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next week on another episode of The Matt Fiona Show. See ya.
Bye now.